Bret, thanks for coming over. Good to see you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right. So these recounts are being done separately then?
Yes.
Is that how it's working out? Okay.
Yeah, actually, the losing candidates have to file a petition with the state, and basically a timeline starts once that happens. So we did complete House District 51 yesterday, and it was upheld. So Frank Fleming did retain that seat.
And what did the final votes come down to? Because it was within, what, 18, 19 votes after election night, and then it shifted by a couple of votes.
Yeah, it changed by 2, which is normal. This is why we have recount laws in Montana. If we took it for gospel, there would be no recounts. So that's not out of the ordinary. Out of all the recounts I've ever done in my 13 years, which is pretty much every 2 years, we've had one. Only one has ever stayed exactly the same, and that was a small school levy. So it's an easy yes or no question. Yeah. No write-ins to deal with. Nobody's changing their mind on a candidate. So
sure, yeah. So how long of a process was the House District 51 recount?
It took about 3 hours once we sealed everything back up, which is normal. You know, we've always done a House or a Senate district every general election, and usually 5 hours tops. Now today we start the district court judge race, so we have never done a countywide one. So we'll see how it goes. Yes.
Never done a countywide. Really? Okay, interesting. Well, we've got some extra coffee, Rock Creek Coffee Roasters in our break room here. So if you need some good, strong coffee before you head back to the office, we've got some in our break room there. All right, so the recount start. What time are you starting that recount today?
1 o'clock today, and we will reconvene tomorrow and Friday at 8 a.m. in the commissioner's boardroom.
So do you think you'll have it all wrapped up by Friday evening then?
Hopefully we're done midday Friday. It starts off fast and it really slows down because you're staring at names, looking at ovals all day long. So you got to stay focused and you got to stay sharp.
Yeah, so get it right. No need to rush it at this point. They're not being sworn in until January anyway. So take your time because you got about 70,000 votes to count in that
Just
race?
Under 70,000, yes.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is about 9,100 people didn't even vote in that race.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, there were so many judicial candidates and so many that were running unopposed. People were probably falling asleep in the ballot booth by the time they got down to some of these races.
It's down ballot, and it's nonpartisan. So a lot of people, I think, will just only vote on those partisan races, especially if they don't know either candidate.
And it's hard with judicial races sometimes, that's for sure. All right, Yellowstone County Elections Administrator Bret Rutherford. We got to take a quick break, and then he'll be back to join us for just a few more minutes, and then he's got to run because they got a busy week there. So back with more Montana Talks right after this. Well, I thought the government was supposed to be shut down today, but hey, not the county government. The Yellowstone County Elections Office gearing up for another recount starting today. Bret Rutherford, Yellowstone County Elections Administrator, here in studio with us. Thanks again for coming over for a few minutes here. Busy week for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, so again, for those who missed it, real quickly, they completed the recount for House District 51. Republican Frank Fleming remained on top, so he will be the legislator for House District 51 here in the Billings area. And then starting this afternoon, they will begin the 3-day process of doing the recount for the Yellowstone County judicial race between Ashley Harada and Juli Pierce. Anything else of interest that you want to share with our listeners across the area here?
No, the recounts, they sound scary, but since I've been here, every general election for the last, basically 13 years I've been in, we've always done a House district or a Senate district. When I started off, it was the Laurel district with Creighton Kearns. It was like clockwork. And now it seems to be House District 51 or the Senate district that it is. They're just very competitive districts. So it's nothing new to us or the county commissioners who are the recount board. So this isn't, we're not inventing the wheel here, and it should go pretty smoothly.
Yeah. So describe the process of doing a recount of almost 70,000 votes. Who all's going to be in the room? What's the process look like?
So normally there would be the county commissioners are the board, and you can always hire extra help, which we will do, because if 3 people are trying to go through 70,000 sheets of paper, it would take 4 weeks to do. So we will have chief and provisional judges that we use on election day help out. So we'll basically have 5 or 6 teams of 3 people sorting ballots, and we'll do them by precinct order. So you basically go through, you sort a pile for Juli, you sort a pile for Ashley, and then there's everything else, the blanks, the overvotes, stuff like that, or anything the commissioners need to look at, and then you kind of just sort them into stacks of 25 and go from there.
And that was an interesting race because Juli Pierce on election night actually had the lead in the votes, but then when the provisional ballots were all counted up, Ashley Harada actually came out the victor by, 118, 119 votes, something like that. That's pretty unusual, but you just never know with these judicial races. Right?
It is, or any race, as a matter of fact. I've seen races fall in and out of recount range before, but I've never seen a result flip like that. So it's pretty interesting to see, and who knows, what's in the mind of the voter, especially the late registrants on election day.
Yeah,
that's the question.
That's for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, and then when it comes to the cost of these recounts, I know you read, well, this recount will cost $20,000. For the most part, you're using staff that are already being paid, so there's not too much in terms of additional costs for taxpayers. Is there, or is there?
Well, in this case, we're bringing in a lot of election judges to help out. If it's a automatic recount, which is in the case of a tie, or under a 0.25%, which this one is, myself, my staff, the county commissioners, they're already getting paid.
Yeah.
So that 8 to 5 time is pretty much a sunk cost, but we are bringing in a lot of extra help this time around.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The county commissioners technically oversee the recount, we love our county commissioners, but are they really doing anything to help, or are they just drinking all your coffee down there?
Well, yesterday they did all the ballot handling, so we put them to work today.
You actually made them work.
We did.
Wow.
We did.
Right.
Today they'll basically oversee if there's any questionable ballots. If one of the overvotes pops up and somebody that's observing the process has a question, they'll swoop in, and they do have the ability to overturn anything that was done by the resolution board on election day. So some results can shift in that fashion, but they'll come in on the hard questions, not the standard oval that's clearly filled out for candidate A or candidate B.
Yeah, and you usually get a lot of people looking over your shoulders. I mean, these political parties will bring in high-dollar lawyers to watch over your every move. So, and for this judge race, I'd imagine it might be somewhat similar because of the fact that once somebody gets elected judge, it's pretty likely that they're going to continue.
It's open to the public, but you have to keep order, or otherwise we'll never get through it. So we have a gallery, and then designated agents or the candidates themselves can kind of get a little closer to the action.
Yeah, all right. Well, Bret Rutherford, shoot us an email, give us an update once you have the final election results or final recount results, probably, Friday afternoon or so. Hopefully it'll be done by Friday evening, I guess. Look forward to hearing about that. Thanks again for popping into the studio this morning.
Thank you.